recently I released a song that had a really thick, fat bass sound, and a lot of people commented on how much they liked it, and they wanted to know how I made it. So I figured I'd give you guys a brief little rundown of how I made this bass sound, particularly using the chorus on the bass sound to give it a much grimier, denser feel to it. So this is what it sounded like originally. And to do that, all I used was the operator, saturator, and chorus devices. So I'm going to show you how I made this real quickly from scratch. So first I'm going to start off by just dragging a default initialized operator onto my track, which is just going to play a sine wave if I play a note. And what I'm going to do first is go to my oscillator B, and I'm going to switch my waveform to the saw wave here, the saw D. And as I turn up my volume, it's going to start affecting my original sine wave and start giving it more harmonics. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my chorus frequency, and I'm going to turn my chorus frequency down to 0.5, which will give it a much deeper basser sound, because this is now going to be oscillating at a lower frequency. Sounds pretty good. And then on oscillator C, I'm going to turn up just a little tiny bit. A little more than that. Great. And that's going to add, again, a little more higher frequencies to our sound. After that, I'm going to go over to my filter section, and I'm going to switch my filter type to the notch filter. So then I'm going to turn down my filter frequency as I'm playing it, and you're going to hear what it's going to be doing to the sound. It's going to be cutting out different little segments of my frequencies, which I think actually sounds really nice. And then the last thing we're really going to do in Operator is turn on our LFO, and we're going to map it so it's going to be moving our filter frequency of our notch filter back and forth. And so I can adjust the amount as well as the rate here. So if I want to set it really fast, I kind of like having it a little slower there, so it gives a really slow motion feel to it. Great, and that's pretty much all I need to do in Operator. That's done for now. The next thing I'm going to do is go to my audio effects and grab a saturator, drag it onto my track. And again, this is going to be really simple, really straightforward. All I'm going to do is go to my drop-down menu here, switch to the sinoid fold setting. A lot of these settings are really great. Sinoid fold happens to be one of my favorite ones, so I'm just going to use that one. And then I'm going to crank up the drive a little bit, which gets you a nice, thick, full sound. And that's pretty much all I need to do here. Then really what's going to tie this whole thing together is going to be the chorus, which is once again going to give it that really thick, grimy sound. The chorus is going to be adding two tiny little microscopic delays to our sound, which is going to make it sound like there's more than one thing playing at a time whenever I hit a note. So that's what sounds with the chorus. That's without the chorus. So within the chorus, we have options here for adjusting our delay times of each one of our delays. And then right here, we have this modulation section. And this is going to add an LFO to the timing of our delays. So as we move this around, you're going to really hear it changing our sound. So you can see here on our y-axis, we have the amount of that the LFO is going to be changing, as well as the rate of the LFO. So if I move my little yellow dot all the way to the top right, it's moving the delay times of our delays back and forth quite a bit really fast, which sounds kind of crazy and a little bit over the top. So, and if I go to the opposite down to the bottom left, it's barely going to be doing much at all. So the key is finding a nice area in this modulation parameter where you get enough of your sound that it's going to be giving you that really nice thick motion, but it's not going to be overpowering your sound and making it sound kind of crazy. And I found in general, that sweet spot tends to be in this area right around here, give or take a little bit. So you can play around with it, tweak it a little bit. and see where you like it. Other than that, you can also adjust your dry wet here so you can find a nice area where you can get enough of that chorusy sound, but not so much that it's going to overtake your whole sound. And that's it. That's all you really need to do. Super simple, super straightforward. It takes you a minute to make, and it can make some really awesome sounds with it. From here, the only really next step you might want to do is just select all your devices, hit Command-G to put them in a rack, and then maybe map some macros. For example, the level of my oscillator B as well as my oscillator C would be two really good places to map. So start like this, and then as you turn these up, you can get a lot of variety of sounds that way. Also, maybe mapping your filter frequency of your notch filter could be fun. And then lastly, let's also map the dry wet of our chorus. So just with those four knobs, you can do lots of really cool stuff with it and make lots of different sounds. And then I'll rename this chorus bass, save it into my user library, and then I can use it again and again. And I will try to upload this so you guys have access to it so you can download it, see how I did it, and then go in and make it yourself. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and good luck making your bass sounds. Be sure to check out Pyramind Training to see all the other amazing videos that are being put up by myself and the other instructors here. Thanks for watching.
Very much like to thank Pyramind for hosting me here once again. I think this institution is really cool, and until I came here for the first time, I had never seen anything like it in my whole life.
What I think really separates us from other people who teach is that we are outrageously passionate about what we do, and especially in electronic music.
Since coming to Pyramind, I've discovered electronic music, and San Francisco being a mecca for underground electronic music opened up so many doors for me and kind of blew my mind.
We cover everything from absinthe to contact. When people get to the mind-melting level, we get into modular synthesis.
Everything about native instruments, everything about Logic synths down to the finest detail. We learned it all.
The fundamentals of understanding how things work, that's just essential. But then beyond that, there's so much more, and that's where it gets into just a lot of the artistic side of like the creative approach of why you do something, not just how.
There's a lot of schools that just, they focus on the technicality of recording music, but I wanted something that would foster creativity and really help me develop as an artist as well.
Each of our genre-specific programs comes in 4 levels. There's a basic, an advanced, a professional, and then a master's level. And the master's level is, of course, everything we do. It's the largest and most powerful programs that we can create for you.